Okay, we are live. This is the overview for week 5. We are through over a quarter of the semester now, and we are in many ways approaching the heart of the course, and that includes the figures for this week, Johannes Kepler and Galileo Galilei. Galileo is obviously important enough so that we'll be spending part of next week discussing him as well. And one of the things to keep in mind with both of these figures, we kind of got into that a little bit, into this matter a little bit last week with Copernicus, but we can trace the biographical coordinates of their lives a little bit more fully just because we have other records and a bit more historical data to work with, and we can piece together aspects of their lives a little bit more easily. And well, we can certainly understand the history of behind the writings of a figure like Aristotle or Plato or Lucretius. We just don't have the same kind of record keeping available to us. So reconstructing the person behind the writings is a little bit tougher. I think you'll see when you get into the readings of both Kepler and Galileo, we can see personalities emerging, and it's a little bit easier to discern the temperaments and the habits and the quirks and the family and social backgrounds that both of these individuals demonstrate. So, and also the worlds they inhabit. So that's something to keep in mind as we move forward into this week's materials. Um, to begin, I'll probably have a page in a work in progress, some notes to upload and share with you on Wednesday. I will also be talking about the first exam essay in a bit more detail. We kind of got into that in the very basic terms just by looking at the calendar last week. But we are going to be uh, approaching the first round of major assignments, and we want to spend appropriate amounts of time talking about the goals of those particular assignments. Um, so today or sorry, not today, this week we begin with Kepler, whose contributions are significant, and you've got some pretty good overview materials, particularly the clip on the new astronomy, which gives you a pretty detailed overview of the social environment that Kepler inhabited and his relationship to Tycho Brahe. Tycho's writings are provided in your text, but we're just not going to look at them mainly because he's not the figure that Kepler was, although the two of them worked for a time in close association. But Kepler's planetary laws represent his main contributions. He articulated what's called a physics of the sky, and his recognizing that planets travel not in circular but in elliptical motion represented a great step forward for envisioning the model of the universe. So between the biographical materials and the scientific contributions, there's a lot there that we can look at, and there's also some passages in the textbook reading that are worth our consideration as well. And then we move to Galileo, who's a giant in multiple ways, and we're going to start by just looking at some of the contours of his biography, and we'll talk a little bit about the readings that appear in your textbook. The dialogues are classics, not just in terms of scientific literature, but in terms of real representative texts of the Renaissance, representing great steps forward in terms of understanding the cosmos and the way the universe is structured. So those we'll be looking at later in the week. And I think I mentioned when we were talking about Plato how the dialogue provided authors across history with a chance to represent multiple viewpoints and to kind of create an argument on paper that enabled the sharing of ideas and the comparing of opposing perspectives. And Galileo's dialogues are interesting for a number of reasons, but in particular, the way that each member of the dialogue represents a specific viewpoint. That's something I hope we can spend a little time with. Other than that, let's see, we've got your textbook editors do provide some very good editorial material, and I'll point that out to you also. Particularly when we get to that stage of his life where Galileo gets in trouble. That's certainly an interesting historical episode, and most people, if they understand Galileo, they knew he got in trouble for articulating a viewpoint that was not popular with the church, the Catholic Church authorities. But beyond that, the ways in which that represented, the hold that the church held over Galileo's society, and what it took for him to challenge the official church viewpoint. That's worth looking at as well. So we'll spend some time with that, and you've got materials in your on your content page, both in week 5 and week 6, which deal with those matters. So it should be a pretty good week. Like I say, I'm in the process of compiling, and I hope to have completed by Wednesday a notes page that I can pull up and just share with you. And also this week's discussion, I think, will get us thinking in more in deeper terms about not just the scientist or the scientific concepts that person articulated, but also some of the larger factors that might contribute to the process of scientific discovery that are worth considering. So anyhow, that should be enough to get us started. So hope you have a good start to your week, and I will look forward to seeing you via Zoom on Wednesday. Take care until then. Bye-bye.